Okay, I decided I want to get this one in here. Okay, update on the story of a woman who set on fire, inspiring others. Okay, that's right. Okay, it's been nearly a month since 26-year-old Megan Kimball, or whatever you want to call her, was lit on fire. Police say her husband. That's right. Josh is to blame. So Josh was to blame. That's right. So, do you suppose he just set her on fire just to set her on fire just because he could? You know, because she was innocent and would never do anything? Now, I don't suppose that neither. Okay? You know, what I'm looking at here is, okay, right here, we'll go ahead. Anyhow, her mother arrived in Tampa, will stand by her side for 5 weeks, thanks to help of 2 strangers. That's right. Andrea Marbury begins helping Megan when she first learned the woman's stories were so similar. That's right. The woman's stories were so similar. They were the victims. Yeah, they were set on fire by their husbands or by their boyfriends, by the ones they said they love. They said they loved them. And we all know it's the guy's fault, you know, because he's a villain, he's a monster. We all know that when fights happen between 2 people, it's only the guy fighting. It's never the woman. We all know that a woman would never, ever push a guy's strings, pull his, push his strings, push his buttons, pull on the strings, the whole 9 yards. They would never do nothing to instigate any kind of trouble, right? All fights are always just one-sided, right? You know, the last time I looked, it took 2 people to fight. And every time I look, what I have seen for years now is the media portrays one side of the story and leaves the other side of the story out. And always plays the victimizer out to be the victim. And I don't know, you're going to say, but she was set on fire. But he didn't just set her on fire for no reason at all. He just didn't happen to say, well, I feel like burning the person I love up today. I think I'll just throw a few on him and set him on fire. No, that's not how it happened. I'll guarantee that's not how it happened. He just didn't wake up and say, I'm going to burn up my wife today. Or set my girlfriend on fire. No, he didn't. You know how that happened? Because it takes 2 people to fight. Oh, but that still don't give him a right to... Well, did he give her a right to cut off his penis when he was getting ready to divorce her, to drug her and drug him and tie him up? Did he give the world a right for media to get up there on ABC and the talk, and for them women to mock and laugh and making fun of him and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh over the guy's penis being cut off? How funny it was, even if he died, it was still so funny. Well, isn't this funny? Shouldn't this just be just as equally as funny? I mean, come on. She was hot, wasn't she? Man, she was hot. She was so hot, she was burning hot, wasn't she? Yeah. Now, I know you don't like my sarcasm. Well, I don't care if her story's inspiring others or not. The reason you have others coming together that's experienced the same things is because you hide the other side of the story. That's right, because you leave out the other part of the story. You always seem to forget to say, what did she do to instigate this situation? No, she's not no innocent little fucking victim. She is the victim only because she was the victimizer. That's right, only because she was already victimizing him. That's right, pulling his strings and pushing his buttons. Because it was fun to make drama, wasn't it? Because drama's love in today's society. Or maybe this could be another reason it happened right here. That's right. Oh, wow. See, we have a new law for men. New law gives men a chance to fight mistaken paternity. Really? Let's see what this says. We'll probably have a commercial first.
It's time for the big
of course we
at
do.
Lewis Yanks. The showroom
it's time
is big,
to,
the selection
well,
is big, and the savings are big.
Listen
this
to a bullshit
is,
fucking commercial.
Huge. The big sale at Lewis Yanks.
The big lie.
Wide discounts on everything for your home at Lewis Yanks.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you the discount was after they marked it up twice.
Deadbeat dads not paying child support for their kids.
Deadbeat dads not paying child support for their kids. Damn, you know, we hear about that all the time, don't we? The deadbeat dads who don't pay child support for the kids. The deadbeat dads, the deadbeat dads. How come you never hear about the deadbeat mothers? I know a deadbeat mother. My son's mother. No lie, I know a deadbeat mother, my son's mother, who she hasn't paid child support in over a year. Probably about a year and a half now. She don't feel she has to. But if a guy did that, wouldn't he be just right here what he said, a deadbeat?
Haven't heard of dads who are forced to pay for kids who aren't theirs. Reporter Brad Woodard has more about an important deadline coming up.
That's right. Dads forced to pay for child support on children that's not theirs. Now, do you suppose maybe a few of these situations right here with women who've been set on fire by the husband could be a situation that was started by this? What do you mean by this, you're going to ask me? Well, simple, you know. He's married to her. She's married to him. She goes out and cheats and has an affair. Oh, that's right. We know women never cheat, right? Ha, ha, yeah, right. Uh-huh. Anyhow, she goes out and does what women would never do that they do all the time. Cheat. That's right. Just like men. That's right. You're not getting by with pushing it one-sided no more. You can stuff that up your ass. So she cheated. Got pregnant. You know. And then, well, can't tell the husband that I put Tom's dick in my hole tonight when he was at work. And that's where the baby came from, so I'll make my husband believe it's his. Later on, the husband finds out it's not his, but that don't matter. He still has to pay child support on it, right? That's right, because he's married to her. She conceived the kid while being married to him, even though it was somebody else's dick in her hole when he was at work. You know, and this happens all the time. But yeah, looky here. She was set on fire, wasn't she? See, that could be one reason out of a million reasons. You know the real reason she was set on fire? Because of your inability to get along with each other. And because, well, do you see how the story portrays he's the villain, he's the villain, he's the villain? But we never say what really caused this to happen. No, we never talk about that part of the story. We wouldn't want to talk about that part of the story, would we? So we'll talk about this.
It is trying to change that.
As we go about the business of our daily lives, we all carry around secrets, some big, some small. But the statistic you're about to hear frames an old question in a startling new light. Who's your daddy?
Statistically, there are 128,000 men in Texas who are paying child support for kids that aren't theirs. As you can see,
that's right, 128,000 men just in this area right here paying child support on children that's not theirs. Well, that's because women don't cheat, right? That's right. It's because only men want sex, right? You see how sick this is? Okay? That many men being forced to pay for somebody else's fling. See, so this is where we're getting off on looking at, well, see, set on fire by husband. And he's to blame, that's right. She's not don't blame in nothing. She didn't do a thing. She was an angel. That's right. You know what held her halo up? Satan's horns.
I don't have any milk. Consider the case of Reggie Jones. It's the end of the month and his cupboards are almost bare.
my electricity bill, just due in a couple of days.
So is his checkbook. The result, he says, of paying $1,400 a month in child support for 2 children DNA testing has proven are not his.
There you go. See, $1,400 a month for children that don't belong to him because the her pretends that she didn't know who the father was. She pretends that she didn't know who she went to bed with. See, guys, women know who they went to bed with. They also know who gets them pregnant. They know when they're the most fucking liable to get pregnant. They know about what time to fuck somebody to get pregnant. Most of the women do. The pregnancy's not an accident. But right here, we're going to cover up the women again and say mistaken paternity. Also, she accidentally had sex like my ex, huh? So she accidentally had sex, right? See how fucked up you people are?
20% of his take-home pay.
After you've paid all your bills, including child support, how much do you have left over?
About $23.
And how long is that supposed to last?
30 plus days.
How are you surviving?
Support friends and family.
There you go, see? This is how much the women care about the men. This is how much women really care about men. See, they used you to get your sucking semen to get their babies. And when they cheat behind your back and get pregnant by somebody else's baby, you're expected to pay for it, even though it's not your child.
He has been informed by the Attorney General's office in no uncertain terms he is not the father, but he's still paying.
That's right. He's been informed he's not the father. No way is he the father, but he's still paying for what don't belong to him.
In years past, if a father in Texas learned the child he'd been supporting wasn't his, he still had to pay because it was considered to be in the best interest of the child.
Right. He still has to pay because it's considered to be in the best interest of the female. I mean, the child. Of the female. Yeah, it would be in the best interest of the female. That if she lies and manipulates and twists truth and runs out and sticks whatever dick she wants in her hole when your back is turned, that's right, and gets pregnant even if it's not your child, that you owe her that money because you was born with a dick between your legs. That's right. She couldn't keep her legs closed. She couldn't take protection to keep herself from getting pregnant. No! That means she'd have to be responsible for her own actions, right?
Logic which sometimes came at the expense of his real children. But a new...
That's right. The real children suffered because you had to pay for the other children that wasn't yours because she's a lying, twisting, man-hating bitch.
State law gives men until this Saturday, September 1st, to petition the courts for DNA testing that could absolve them of responsibility.
Right. See, this new law gives them to... What? Let's listen to this again.
But a new state law gives men until this Saturday, September 1st, to petition the courts for DNA testing that could absolve them of responsibility.
Right. The new law is going to help them. You got to this Saturday. You got to tomorrow, guys. This new law is going to help you. You have 24 hours from the time you've seen this video, probably less from the time you've seen this video, to hurry up and do this because this new law is in your behalf, guys.
They can still do it after that, but only if they've learned they're not the father within the past year.
But only if they've learned they're not the father in the last year. Do you catch my drift? Only if you didn't catch on to her lie, if you didn't catch on to her lie, that's right. Then, only if you didn't catch on to her lie, even though it's proven it's not your child, you still must pay. Wonder why she got set on fire, don't you guys?
Here's the problem.
I have people come into my office pretty much on a daily basis, bring me DNA tests from 2007 or 2009 or 2005.
The Attorney General's office takes credit for all child support paid through the state.
Plus, the state receives federal incentives of $30 to $40 million a year based upon how much child support it collects. And this year, it collected a record $3.2 billion.
There is no justice in a non-father paying child support for someone else's child.
I've pretty much lost everything.
Yeah, they don't care that he's lost everything. See, the lying bitch that done this to him, she don't care. Just putting money in her pocket. She don't care how she gets it. She don't care if she destroys him. She don't care if he sleeps in a cardboard box in the woods. No, he's just a guy. He's not even a human. He don't have feelings and emotions. He don't have needs. Okay? He has no needs, no wants. He's just an alien. Just a guy.
For 2 children that aren't even his. Brett.
That's right, paying for 2 children that ain't even his. But don't you like the new law? They gave you to tomorrow, September 1st, guys. And only if You knew about it in the last year. You know how many guys won't know that the child's not theirs until a year, 2, 3, 4 years later, 5 years later? Some guys may not even know it their whole fucking time they raised the fucking child, or they pay for the child, not really raise it, but they pay for it, okay? And when it's proven DNA-wise, you can absolutely prove 100% that she's the lying piece of liar that she is, okay? And the kid don't belong to you, and that she's a liar. That's right. The kid don't belong to you, that she's lying. In a world where you think lies are the norm now, it's okay to lie, isn't it? So it's okay that if she lies and charges him for every time a guy puts a dick in her hole behind his back. That's right. And she'll charge him for it and let the other guys run. That's right. Well, that's because they're bad boys and she's using him. He's, he's their bank. That's right. He's her personal bank. Then you would wonder why you would see right here women's stories were similar. Of course they was. Manipulation, lies, cheating, treating them like complete pieces of shit. That's right. Ain't that right, ladies? You treat the guy like a piece of dirt. Lower than a piece of dirt, don't you? Because you're above him, because you got a hole between your legs, right? That's right. And because the court said so. You're smarter than him because the court's told you so. That's right. You sure are smarter than him because the courts have told you so, right?
Are men the oppressors of women, or are women the oppressors of men? A woman wakes up in the morning in a house built by men. She starts the water to boil on a stove built by men, and sits at a chair and table put there by men, to read a newspaper written in part by women, but printed and delivered by men. She nibbles some toast made from grains grown and harvested by men. Whoops! Time to take a shower. She turns a faucet handle installed by a man, and lo and behold, out comes hot water, delivered by a vastly complicated water system built and maintained by men. She drives to work in a car built by men, on roads built by men, powered by petroleum, drilled and refined and delivered by men. She arrives at an office building built by men, walks to her desk, fires up her computer, and glances out her window at a city built by men, full of potential customers for her service business. Out of the corner of her eye, a table in the conference room that seems awkwardly out of place snags her attention. She strokes her earlobe. At that moment, the janitor scoots by in the hallway. Bob, oh Bob, could you please move that table further into the corner? You're such a dear. She pins him with a delectable and utterly phony smile. Bob, oblivious to the cheapness of the words and falseness of the smile, thrilled to get any attention at all from such an attractive person, pitches right in, and as he lugs one corner of the heavy table across the carpet, she exhales a comfortable sigh. Her day has begun. She will spend the next 8 to 10 hours telling other people what to do.
Yep.
That's her understanding of work. This creature, who has no idea where things come from, how they are made, and has not the slightest knowledge about how the world works, has been put in charge of it. Because there is really nothing else of any specific value she could be doing. If she lived in a world built by women, she would be sitting in a tent, watching her breath in front of her face, stitching animal hides. But she lives in a world built almost entirely by men. And amazingly, she has not the slightest appreciation or gratitude for that fact. She never even stops to think about it. Never stops to think that if all the things men make and do were magically removed, right now she would be plodding through a muddy swamp looking for red-winged blackbird eggs. She thinks the world is made out of proper grammar and attractive clothing and polite conversation and correct opinions, instead of rivets and concrete and copper and petroleum. From the day she picked up her first teaspoon, she has been learning how to manipulate the things men provide, as if they were put in front of her by God or Mother Nature. She has no idea what men actually do. Yet, according to her and the media she consumes, men are assholes. How long do you think this is going to last? When I think of the men, the lumberjacks and truck drivers and paper mill workers and printers and delivery men, the men who have to get up early every morning and do very hard jobs so that Ellen Goodman and Maureen Dowd and other feminist blowhards can sit in their climate-controlled offices shitting out editorials about what assholes men are. When I think of those women walking on the backs of all those men, I want to start bombing things. Let's bomb them all the way back to the unheated tent and the muddy swamp and see what they complain about then. Maybe they'll start writing editorials about how women should start doing real work, not just office work. Here are the facts. 19 out of 20 people who die on the job are men. 4 out of 5 suicides are men. 85% of the homeless are men. Women live 7 years longer than men. 65% of America's wealth is owned by women, says Forbes magazine. Men are not regarded as equal parents to their children. Men are drafted in time of war, and women are not. Given these facts, how could anyone with half a brain possibly believe that men are the oppressors of women? Now hear this. Men are now, and always have been, the protectors and providers for women. The protectors and providers for women.
Okay, now that we've seen this and we understand that women are smarter than men, okay, now that we understand that women are much smarter than men, okay, anyhow, enough of the sarcasm here, but there's some truth here, like a whole lot of truth, okay? And we talked about women manipulating, stories manipulating people, one-sided stories that continue to play themselves out. Why do you think they have something in common here? Why do you think these women that are being set on fire by their other half are being set on fire? Not just because he woke up and decided to burn the person he loves today. No! It's the manipulation. It's the lies. It's the woman who instigates and victimizes the victim, the man, and then the victimizer don't like it when she becomes prey to the very behavior she represents. See, the behavior that you represent is what brought this on to begin with. The behavior that can be changed when you know it's wrong, but you refuse to change it because you think it's cool. Don't worry, it's this behavior right here that's going to get millions of people dead. No lie. And I know you say I'm a conspiracy nut, but anybody that's got their eyes even halfway open and any common sense in their head understands exactly what I'm saying. And as far as the other issue here, what did he say? All the statistics, the men, the suicides, blah, blah, all of that was true. And then you got to go with the fact that also 90% of the male population, at least in the U.S., is vaginas. Pussy whipped, I wished I was a man. And I hate to say that, but that's so true. Because you've all been so brainwashed, so brain raped by the system. And you can't even see it. And it's just pathetic. Okay? This behavior is what represents why she got burned. She's not a victim. She's only the victim of a victimizer. She's the victimizer. She is a victim, but she's a victim of her own doings. He just didn't wake up and decide to pour gas on her and set her on fire. He just didn't decide it for no reason at all. But you always got to leave that part of the story out, don't you? So, you should enjoy the next time you're set on fire because, I said before, you know how to create your very own killers. That's some special skill since you are smarter than men, right?